Meirav Ben-Ari is an Israeli politician who currently serves as a member of the Knesset for the Kulanu party. She's known for her work promoting education, welfare, and women's rights, and is here to give us a scoop on some of the new legislation she's been working on. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So you come from a background in education, and I understand that you actually just pushed this new legislation concerning education in low-income families. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I just passed it in this last week, and it was after 6 or 7 months of work in the legislation, in the committee of the Knesset, the welfare committee. This act would basically say that if you are coming from poor families or from single mom or single fathers that raise you alone, the government will give you 1,000 shekel per year. Until my act, it was between first grade to 8th grade, and now after this legislation, we will change it to high school also. Yeah. I mean, what's happened here in Israel, it's a little bit, strange, because when you are going to high school, you probably have to spend more money about your children. Probably, if making ready for his bagrut, for this very special exam in the end of the high school. And when you are a teenager, you have more expenses. And we say that it have to be, also in high school. So every family will get 1,000 shekel per year until her boy or girl finish high school. And this act say that almost 70,000 young Israelis, boys and girls, will get it. And it costs about 30 million shekels to the budget of Israel. But when you are coming from the party that heading by the Ministry of Finance, you can do
right. You can move things around.
You can move things, and you can do things for the society. And when I came to Kulanu party, one of my goals is to help these poor families. And I come also in my background, I'm from a single mom that raised me. So I promised her and promised another, families and children that live like me, that the government will help them to get more opportunity and more money for themselves.
Well, this is huge for education, but
Thanks.
I also actually understand that you're working on a new project that is dedicated to lonely soldiers, so soldiers that come from other countries to serve in the Israeli army.
Yeah, we have in Israel, we have a very large or big problem with the lonely soldiers, because we give them a very important opportunity in the army, and then we take care about that they will have a house and even families during the part that they do in the army. But we sometimes, unfortunately, as a society and as a government, we forget that when they finish the army, most of them, they don't want to come, to go back to their countries. They want to stay here. They love Israel. They want to stay here. They want to sometimes even have family, want to work here. And what we are going to do in the next few weeks, we are going to, just end all the programs, because it's going to be a plan, not as a rule, that will help the lonely soldier of Israel to get an assistant with having a house in Israel and also having an employment. Because as you know, we have a housing crisis in Israel. This is one of the goals of Kulanu party, to change.
And we're going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, because it's really, really important goal for us to be a part of the change in the housing crisis in Israel. And the lonely soldiers that they staying here, even when you are a soldier that coming from a regular family, Israeli family, and you finish the army and you are confused, you don't know what to do. How do you pay for social care? How do you find a job? So think about the lonely soldier that when they finish the army, they don't have anyone to support them. And we want them to stay here in Israel. We want them to have families. We want them to work. We want them to one day, even buy a house. And in the next few weeks, we are going to present this plan to the soldier and to the army.
So I want to talk a little bit about, how the cost of living in Israel is so high, and housing especially. Your party has, essentially campaigned on this issue. And, what are the changes that need to be done right now to kind of address the problems that the country is facing?
So, that Kulanu party had, when she came to the Knesset, she had and she still have the three goals. One is the housing crisis, second is the cost of living in Israel, and the third one is how to narrow the gap between not just the poor people, but even with the middle class, and the poor people, and how to, to help the society, and why is it so expensive to live in Israel, and why is it so expensive to buy a house in Israel. And I can tell you that the fair things that Moshe Kahlon, the Minister of Finance, did, he took he called them like a tools how to change this situation. And I don't know if you heard, but there is going to be, I don't know exactly how to say it in English, but in Hebrew it's called Mechir Lemishtaken. It's price for the one very special price for people who want to buy a first house in Israel. And it said that if you want to buy a house and you are a new couple that just get married, or even if you are a bachelor, and after 35 years old, and you didn't have a house in your life, you can have an opportunity to buy a house less than almost $500,000 less than the market value price. Wow. But the second thing, that you can have a mortgage of almost 90% of the house. So it's amazing, because first you are going to do like, give an opportunity for people that they don't have a house. Not the people that this is their second or third house. For people who never buy a house in their life, like me. I'm going even to be there in this lottery. I don't know if I will win, but I'm going to be there. And even my friends, that they get married and they never had the chance to buy a house.
Well, it's hard to save, essentially. So it's
I think we are going to do this project all over Israel, from Dimona to Kiryat Shmona. It's going to be in the center of Israel, in the north and in the south. And, even young people who live in the same city that it will be this lottery, 30% of the people that live in the same city, they had the advantage, for people that they want to buy, but they never live in the city. You understand? Right. If you are in the 30%, you have more opportunity than another one that came from another city. And you can be in 10 lottery, you can participate in 10 lottery in the same time. I can be in the lottery of Herzliya, and also in Lod, and also in Rosh Hashanah.
I think everybody here is listening very closely to what you're saying, because this is very interesting, and it's new.
Please, just go to online to Mechir Lemishtaken in Hebrew and price for the seller, and just look on the internet and join it, because this is an opportunity that's coming from the government, and unfortunately we didn't have it in the last few years.
Right. So I want to change topics for a second, and you have had a very unique experience in your life. You actually were on a reality show searching for an Israeli leader, which you can tell us a little bit more about, and you won 5 million shekels. The big question is, what did you do with that money, and obviously how has that experience influenced your role now in the Knesset?
It's very funny that you're asking me this today, because I just came from the center that I built in my 5 million shekel, and I just gave them a lecture about my work in the Knesset to the young people that stay in this center. So from the beginning, I will tell you, I took the 5 million shekel and I built 2 centers for youth at risk in Netanya and in Herzliya. And those centers coming every day, many boys in the age of between 14 to 16, 17. They coming every day, they eat their lunch, they do their homework with students in small groups. And every day they had some after-school activities, because they don't have this at home. So they going sometimes to surf, they go sometimes to travel. And it's like very, very strong, that try to help them to narrow the gap, that they have in school, because they are very weak at school, very weak in their classes. So I built these centers, and another one in Herzliya. And I got the money from Rashi Foundation. I never got it to my pocket, it was just work, just went there. And I'm very proud in those centers. It's funny because this is the reality show that in the first time in Israel that they didn't give you a prize, for myself. They gave me a prize for the society.
For charity, right.
Yeah, I just have to choose what I want to do with the money. And I choose to go back to Netanya, my hometown. I choose to give the money for youth at risk because I think that education is the key for succeed in life. I think that education is key for youth at risk and youth from poor neighborhood that want to change their life and they don't have the opportunity. And I worked there for about 10 years. It was an amazing job. I know it's really exciting, because I just came now. I met like about 40 of my boys today.
Wow.
And they were amazing. They gave me flowers. They were really exciting that, as an MK, I'm coming to speak with them. But I spoke with them. I asked them, what are you thinking about? They asked me from electric bike to Bibi Netanyahu. They wanted to know. They were really interested. And I had really good luck, to do something for society, to get money from reality show and, to change the life of those boys. Because, I have boys that they're already like 20 or 22 years old. And still I have a really good connection with them. One of them getting married tomorrow, so I'm going to his wedding. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, when you are working with youth and risk, you change their life, you influence them, you give them a role model that they can see and they understand that they can change their life,
Absolutely. Well, it's great to see that you've been a huge inspiration so far to these kids, and I'm excited to see what you do in the future.
Thank you.
Thank
it's
you
really
so much
important.
for coming in.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks.